Welcome back.
Welcome, my friend. It is September 18th, and our topic for today is dealing with pain, which I think is so appropriate given that today is my mom's birthday, and so much of her life was characterized by pain. So, just like a very appropriate topic.
Yeah, wow. Do you have anything on there before we start?
No.
Except that it's like super spot on almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what Marcus says. Whenever you suffer pain, keep in mind that it's nothing to be ashamed of, and that it can't degrade your guiding intelligence, nor keep it from acting rationally and for the common good. And in most cases, you should be helped by the saying of Epicurus that pain is never unbearable or unending. So you can remember these limits and not add to them in your imagination. Remember, too, that many common annoyances are pain in disguise, such as sleepiness, fever, and loss of appetite. When they start to get you down, tell yourself you are giving in to pain.
Yeah, we're fighting it. I'm fighting it. Yeah, the pain. I don't want it. It's a pain is that's interesting, right? Because it's like not wanting to have arguments or fights really. Not arguments are okay, but fights. Like not wanting them is like, why don't I want to have a fight? Why is it such a bad thing to have a fight? Because I feel bad afterwards or da 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 da. It's painful. It's painful. So I can summarize it as painful, and now I don't want it. So I'm going, no, I don't want it. But this is saying essentially go with the pain, lean into it, and don't try to not want it. Yeah.
Resisting pain is huge.
Yeah, because it's not avoiding the pain, it's taking it. And it's building resistance to it. And it will challenge us for sure, because some of those pains are physical pains or emotional pains are so unbearable that are almost unimaginable in our minds,
And he's like pointing at something that's really common with pain when he's like, remember that pain is never unbearable or unending. And that's a really big thing, that when we feel pain, very often we start to catastrophize it. And the pain starts, we go into these cycles of thinking about pain in a way where this is going to last forever. Something terribly wrong is happening right now. Am I ever going to get better? And it's this thought spiral of catastrophizing the experience that creates so much of the internal resistance to pain. And when I was saying resistance, I wasn't meaning like building up a resilience to it, which yes, of course, but I was going more like resisting equals avoidance. So like there is that want to resist it, and part of where that resistance is coming from is because I'm catastrophizing the pain that I'm experiencing.
You're making it maybe bigger than it is, or
I'm making it worse by how I'm thinking about the pain itself.
Maybe you can describe it like accurately, but then somehow it gets blown out of proportion or something, you know. Like if you had to describe it on a physical, like 1 to 10, you might be able to say like oh, it's like a 5, or let's say it's like a 5, and it's like, but then when we're talking about it, let's say it might feel like a 8, because it's being catastrophized, or it's being,
like if I accept the pain that I'm experiencing without adding more psychological gunk assumptions flavoring on top of it, it's a 5.
So but are you thinking like sticking to the truth is like, it's like trying to not catastrophize, like, hey, what is actually a fact that I can actually make some decisions from, and it's like that maybe helps with that, or how are you dealing with that?
Yeah, so like the biggest, like let's just take a physical pain, like I've had like a shoulder injury, and like that pain would be like pretty constant in different seasons of my life. And so if I get to a place where I can experience the pain and remain calm about it, so try to keep like a quiet mind about it and breathe through it and not freak out about it, the pain starts to go down and it starts to hum at like a 4 or 5. But now the moment I start adding thinking on top of it, I don't like this. This is so annoying. Oh, like, why isn't this going away already? Will this ever go away? What do I need to do to make it go away? What does this mean? Like, am I injured? Is this creating issues? Where else is this creating issues for me? Like, the thoughts will just like come in like this, and now all of a sudden the pain goes from a 5 to a 9. And that's when it starts to feel unbearable, like I want to crawl out of my skin, because I'm literally trying to run away from the pain. But the pain is inside of me, so it's like I'm trying to run away from myself.
You're trying to run away from it, and it feels like you want to run away from yourself, and it's like you actually can't, right? So it's
because
like,
it's inside me.
The thing is constantly gonna like catch on or something, and yeah, so it's almost like, that's interesting, because it's like, well, we know we can't escape it, right? We know we cannot escape it. So like logically we say, well, then you would say, well, why would I run? That makes no sense. But nevertheless, when it's coming, we run anyway. So it's like, is it just embedded deep in our myelin to the point that we're just like, yeah, like fight or flight type of a thing, like, hey, it's coming, I gotta get out of here, right? Like it's so learned, like physiologically it's that way, right?
I mean,
but
pain definitely feels threatening.
Yeah.
So it would make sense then, the brain would say, this is a threat. What do I do with threats? I fight, flee, or submit. So like, what am I doing here? And a lot of times then we fight it, we flee it. And then accepting it, I think accepting it comes about like if you have somebody in your life who modeled a relationship with pain that was really functional and could teach you while you were growing up how to handle painful moments, then like maybe you wouldn't develop those habits to begin with. But I think that the way of changing those habits is to understand these things like this, and to understand, oh, when I'm in pain, it is a human thing that I will start to catastrophize. And here's what that means, and here's what that looks like. And now in every situation that I feel pain, I ask myself, am I adding on to this? Am I catastrophizing something here? Adding extra onto the situation, because the situation is already bad enough. That's why I'm feeling pain to begin with. So it's extra important, and I'm the one experiencing this pain. So why on earth would I want to make this worse for myself? I just never learned that me doing this is making it worse for myself.
Trying to run away is making it worse. And
run away, fight it, and then that's characterized by catastrophizing psychologically.
It's not here. Trying to like make up stories, right? To the other side of it, like, right? Yeah. First we go through the catastrophize, and now we cannot escape it. That catastrophe that we created. Yeah. that made me think about like, oh, what's an action item, and I was like, oh, like maybe putting it on the daily morning kind of reminder, similar thing of the, putting it on there, saying to myself like, hey, I might be running into issues today, and the tendency will want to be to make them bigger than it seems.
Yeah.
Let's pay attention to that. Let's see if first let's catch that's happening, and then let's see what like just that daily reminder, like, okay, I'm gonna run into some people that is in there, right? That might have issues with, and then but I might be taking something on, and then making up stories that are not there, that lead into not a good feelings and not a smart. That's not a smart thing to do. Think about it is okay, but the making it bigger or smaller, or making up a size about it when we don't know the size of it.
Yeah.
Is the
because
assumption.
Making it smaller is the avoidance.
Don't make any assumptions in theory. That comes up from that, right? That's fun.
Yeah, it's just, so I think the daily reminder is smart, like waking up and being like, there will be painful situations today. Like life is characterized by pain, and it's not a problem that we experience pain.
Pain is life's one of its favorite colors, let's say.
Yeah,
like
it's a communication tool that life uses to tell you, am I on or off track in a given moment? So it's like useful, and thank you, pain. And it's hard to read, it's hard to understand, it's hard to know what it's asking for and what it's telling us, like what, because sometimes you feel pain in one area, but really the problem is someplace else. And pain has that way, and like that happens in the body all the time, where you feel pain in the shoulder, but really where it's starting is like, well, your pelvis is misaligned, and then your rib cage is offset, and now your shoulders are unstable.
Yeah, so it's like, let's see. Sorry, something was there, but the relationship with pain could be much better by going into meeting it halfway versus pushing it away and doing all those things, those avoidant things. By going into it, it will make our relationship with it better. To your point, when my pain is this way, the pain reflects itself so many different ways throughout life. But we say, pain bad, go away. But maybe some pain is okay, some pain is this way. So like it's like there's not one pain. There's many different types of pain, and we categorizing it maybe is like, oh, there's one pain, go away. I don't want any pain, right? But like because we think that the pain, that big bucket, is really hurtful, painful, and bad for us, and all of this stuff. But maybe some of those pains inside are not hurtful. They're actually helpful to create those relationships.
Well, all pain is like trying to communicate something.
Yeah. It's
pain.
It's
pain
actually
is asking for something.
Right.
It's saying something's going on. I'm asking for something. And what I'm saying is it's confusing what it's asking for, because it's not straightforward. It's not like I have a pain in my shoulder, therefore.
Yes, and I'm saying to this exact point, I'm saying by inviting it, now it will tell us where
you will get better
information.
Get
better information of where specifically the pain is maybe coming from, or like you will be investigative about it. Like, hey, okay, my knee hurts, but where is it really coming from? Versus like, my knee hurts, I need to avoid something, right? Like more being interested in it, you might find where it's actually coming from. That maybe it's coming from your ankle or something, whatever, right?
I mean, if you could replace catastrophizing with curiosity, you would probably have much better. Both the pain itself would feel more tolerable.
Yeah, that would be,
The pain itself would be more tolerable, but then you would also be smarter at resolving the pain through solutions that work.
Yeah.
Because when you're catastrophizing, you might try a bunch of solutions, but you're not embracing the problem enough to even know what the problem is. So you might be throwing this, that, and the other solution at it, and it's not working. And now you're getting more and more frustrated by the whole thing and thinking, see, like this is, look at how terrible this is. I've tried everything. Well, yeah, you tried everything except for, be curious. Like really, like let your pain talk to you more than you talk to your pain. And it's weird because it's not speaking the same language. But now there's a little bit more trial and error. There's more skill in that trial and error. You get little wins out of it. It's like, okay, my shoulder went from hurting 24 hours a day to only hurting 16 hours a day. High freaking 5. And like, then I can appreciate the progress.
It's interesting that I noticed that this whole time you were talking about in the you, like you have to do this. But then at the end you say you ended it with I get to appreciate the progress. Like you shifted the I, but when you were talking about it, it was you. It was like it was like while you're saying it, you still wanted to distance yourself from it.
Maybe subconsciously.
Subconsciously,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're not taking it in. For sure you are. Yeah. Cool, man. Good topic. Yeah, that's a good one. Pain, relationship with or to pain. Yeah.
You want to read Ryan?
Mm-hmm. Let's do it. Yeah.
In 1931, on a trip to New York City, Winston Churchill was struck crossing the street by a car going more than 30 miles an hour. A witness at the scene was sure that he had been killed. He would spend some 8 days in the hospital with cracked ribs and a severe head wound. Churchill somehow retained consciousness. When he spoke to the police, he went to great lengths to insist that he was completely to blame and wanted no harm to come to the driver. Later, the driver came to visit Churchill at the hospital. When Churchill heard that the driver was out of work, he tried to offer him, the man who had nearly killed him, some money. More than his own pain, he was worried that the publicity from the accident would hurt the man's job prospects and sought to help how he could. Nature is merciful, he later wrote in a newspaper article about the experience, and does not try her children, man or beast, beyond their compass. It is only where the cruelty of man intervenes that hellish torments appear. For the rest, live dangerously, take things as they come, dread not, all will be well. In the years to come, Churchill and the world would witness some of the most hellish torments that man could invent. Yet he, along with many of our ancestors, endured that pain as well. As horrible as it was, eventually all would be well again. Because, like Epicurus says, nothing is unending. You just need to be strong and gracious enough to get through it.
Nothing is unending. Yeah, there was inspirational, for sure. Yeah, don't run away from the pain, but go lean into it and have a relationship with it. It will hurt less if I actually go do that. The pain will be feeling like a less of a pain if I lean into it. Yeah, that's a great way to go explore. Yeah, that's for sure. I'm one of many who go through the same thing, like a fear of any type of pain. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I run ibuprofen. Where is it? Right? Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying physical pain shouldn't be remedied and helped. All pain should be helped, right? Internal and external. Yeah.
Yeah, like take the ibuprofen and be curious about where the headache came from.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. On that note, da 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 da.
All right, my friend. Thanks for tuning in with us today. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Bye.